Hi everyone, it's Jane and Jo from Edge Recruitment here, and we recently conducted a survey with our candidates. We wanted to present you with the results. And Jane, how are you today?
I'm great, thanks, Jo.
Good. Nice to see you, even though it's only on video.
Yes, it's something new for us, so yeah, it's good to try something new.
Yeah, good. All right. Jane, can you tell everyone why you wanted to conduct this survey in the first place?
So what we wanted to do was be able to give some information to employers in relation to what the motivations are for candidates who are looking for jobs at the moment. So we surveyed our database of candidates and had a good level of response and got some really interesting information out of it.
Okay, great. Now, the first thing we asked candidates was about their employment status. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So taking out the people who were not employed prior to coronavirus, what we found was there was about 36% of people who had no change to their current role, which is fantastic. So far, they've been unaffected.
Yeah.
We had about 20% of people who had their hours reduced, and certainly we found that really common across our client base. 13% of people had been stood down. So usually being stood down is with a view to coming back on stream at some stage, and hopefully that does happen. Yeah. And unfortunately, almost 10% of people had been made redundant. So across our whole candidate database, which is hundreds of people, that's 1 in 10 of those people had been made redundant.
Yeah.
Which is pretty tough.
Yeah, that's tough. So moving on, we asked candidates what benefits would entice them to change roles right now.
Yeah.
With some fairly interesting results. So would you like to tell everyone a bit about that?
Yeah, it was a bit interesting. I was a little bit surprised with some of these, or perhaps more so the order that they came in at. So 65% of respondents said that the main motivator for them to move would be to move to a quality employer or an employer of choice. So I thought that actually might be down the list a little bit, but what that shows is that people are still thinking long-term about their career. They don't want to make a jump into something just for the sake of moving. So they're still looking to go with those employers that are high quality. Secondary was long-term job security. So no surprises there.
No.
Wanting to move to a company that can demonstrate that they're going to be able to have pipeline of work, maintain their workforce. Flexibility of work hours was really high as well. So almost 47% of people wanted to maintain flexibility or wanted more flexibility of work hours. And I think that's certainly always been a factor with job seekers, but given that so many people have been working from home, that's become really heightened. And I think going forward, we're going to just continue to see that to be a really strong motivator.
Yeah. Actually, I was surprised that working from home wasn't higher up. I thought it would be higher up than flexible working hours because of just what's been happening in the COVID-19 crisis. It was like people still wanted the flexible working conditions.
Yeah, and I think it's just the opportunity to be able to continue to, school pickups, or maybe even it's just about being able to work when you are at your most productive. I think that's what people are discovering as they go along.
Yeah, indeed. So next we asked what concerns candidates have had about changing jobs right now in this current COVID-19 crisis.
Yeah.
What were candidates concerned about with, Jane?
So if we take out the group of people that aren't currently in employment, the financial viability of the company is a number one concern. So no surprises there. They're looking for a company that's going to offer them stability and offer them long-term employment opportunities.
Yeah.
Secondary was salary. So people are concerned if they changed roles or if they went into a new role, are they going to be able to negotiate a level of salary that they're happy with? And that's going to be some interesting topic going forward. Not getting the number of hours they're looking for. So people are also a bit worried that if they do look to change roles, maybe they'll need to go from a full-time role to part-time hours.
Yeah.
And an interesting one, which was another option, was people are concerned about the interview process. So, for example, having to do video interviews interviews.
Yeah.
And how do they actually get a job? So
That was surprising, wasn't it?
Yeah, lots of people just still aren't comfortable on the video medium. Some industries have been doing that for years, but lots of us haven't. So, it's interesting just to see that people are going, I still like that face-to-face sort of interview experience.
Yeah. So it was a very quick survey. What takeaways do you think, because this is aimed at employers, what should employers take notice of from these results?
If you're recruiting, what you need to do is make sure that you address these concerns up front. And I would be doing that in your ads, definitely, if you're advertising or if you're approaching people in some of those first approaches. So I'd be discussing things like the length of time you've been in business, if you're an established business, your client base, say if you're in residential real estate, it might be that you've got a rent roll of 200 or 400 properties. If you're in projects, for example, that you've got a pipeline of work for the next 18 months or you've got a budget for X, Y, Z, address some of those concerns up front, because job seekers at the moment, if they're in roles, they are very reluctant to move. So while employers might think, I'll have the pick of people in the market, depending what sector you're in, that's not necessarily the case at the moment. So you may still have to work really hard to attract the right person.
All right, thanks, Jane. That's it. We hope employers and the property industry found that interesting, and we hope to see you soon.
Thanks, Jo.
Bye.